Beth Long here for Fox Sports Next with Purple Wildcats Chris Emma. We are outside Welsh Ryan Arena going to talk about Northwestern basketball. Now, the last time we talked, it wasn't so positive, but it seems that things this offseason have definitely been trending in a positive direction for both Carmody and the Northwestern men's basketball team. Chris, what's your take on the offseason, and what about the strides they've made thus far?
Well, yeah, the offseason started really slowly. There was a lot of questions both about Carmody's job and then about recruiting here. Alex Ola's, his commitment was kind of hanging in the air as he hadn't signed yet. It turned into a great offseason. You know, Ola's here. They added Jared Swapshire, Chera Joe, a bunch of different players here. They got a ton of newcomers. It's a totally new team. There's such a positive vibe in practice as we saw today. These guys are really clicking, playing well. It's going to be a fun year, I can tell you that much. There's a totally new energy here, and it feels totally different. The worry you might have had is that there's going to be a hangover after last season, the way things ended. It's definitely not the case. I mean, these guys are set. They're looking good out there, so it's going to be fun to watch. Definitely
a positive energy out here today. Chris and I both saw that they're able to practice 2 hours a week through the summer, so it looks like they're breaking that up twice a week. I'm sure Chris has talked to you about that. It's interesting seeing how many new players are out here. Chris told me earlier 7 new guys that have never touched the court in Northwestern uniform. Give me a little bit of a preview of those guys and how you think they might fit into the Northwestern system.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so much competition right now. That's the number one thing. I don't think I've ever seen a Northwestern team so deep. And if you ask a historian, I'm sure they'd probably tell you the same thing. It's impressive, really. You know, you got Swapshire is going to be one of the premier players. I think he's pretty much set himself into a starting role, or at least a premier role with his team. He's never played in the Princeton offense. He's ready. He's trying to take over. He said he's learning it, adjusting well. You know, you got so many of these other new guys. Alex Ola could have a role right away. Nicola Serena, who's a transfer from last year, he's eligible now. He's looking good out there. He's popping some threes. That's a 7-footer out there. So it's so many guys who are jumping into these roles. Hill Abrahamson, Sanjay Lumpkin, they could all jump into a starting role right away. Realistically, if not, then a role on the floor there as a backup. So there's a lot of jobs to be had out there. It's really fun to watch this competition.
Another huge job to be had this coming year is finding a leader on the court and off the court. Who is your guess of who that might be?
Well, this is going to be Drew Crawford's team. He's a senior now. He's the 4-year starter. He's played almost every game of his career, so it's going to be his team. Jared Swapshire also said he wants to take over a leadership role. It's funny because he's learning from some of the young guys who have been around this team. And yet at the same time, he wants to be one of the leaders. But, you know, he's been around 4 years. He's played in a Final Four. He's got the experience you need. He's got the credentials you need. And he's the only player on this Northwestern team who's ever been in the NCAA tournament, of course. So he's got that experience, and he's got the age out here. He can take over that role. So then also, of course, Alex Marcatulio, who's another senior and has seen significant minutes since his freshman year. He's another guy who's going to be playing a lot this year.
Certainly a lot of things to look forward to as basketball season inches closer at this point, so stay on Purple Wildcats.